Hello and welcome to Give and Take, the positives in life. And today's topic is pursuing your passion. And the guest for today, he will introduce himself and tell you what it is that he does. So welcome.
How you doing, Cicely?
Fine, how are you?
Good, good.
Good.
So my name is Giovanni, Chef d'Amour Green,
Chef d'amour, green.
Chef of
Okay.
Love.
So I was going to say, you got to let them know amour. I know what amour means, but please let the viewers know what
Exactly.
amour
So the
means.
Chef
Okay.
of Love, and the business that I currently own and operate is named Break Bread, Not Hearts.
Okay, very good.
And we are essentially a culinary enterprise that is based on the notion that the main ingredient in everything that you eat, do, pursue in life should be love.
Right.
So I've worked in restaurants for several years.
Okay.
And a few years ago, in 2012, I wanted to step out of that realm, but still wanted to cook because it's, the one thing that connects us all.
Right.
So I decided to have a feast it was the end of 2012. So everyone was going crazy with the Mayan end of the world and, everything else. So, and my birthday's in December.
Okay.
So I was like, you know what? I'm going to have a 25th birthday / Christmas / New Year / end of the world extravaganza.
Okay.
And I named the event Break Bread Not Hearts. Made an event on Facebook, invited all my friends from college from childhood, all the aspects of my life.
Lovely.
And one of my close friends who I went to school with, he helped me prepare this 12-course meal of everything you can think of, from my Caribbean curry chicken to a seafood bake to a few Mediterranean dishes, a vegetarian chili. It was, we went all out. And more than people enjoying the food, the biggest thing that struck me at the end of that evening was there were people who had never met each other before, yet by the end of the night, it was almost as if they had become best friends just through the food being that medium which connected them. And it just really resonated with me.
Right.
Because being in a restaurant, if you're cooking, you may not know who your food's going out to. The people may not always be appreciative of it. So it reminded me of how powerful food is.
Right.
And how it connects us. So with that, I decided, let me try to start catering or figure out ways that I can get the food and just the mission of love out to people. And I came up with the slogan of cooking up community. So that's one of the driving slogans behind our business and everything we do.
So now, when you say you prepare your food with love, how do you do that exactly?
So I always just try to have a clear head when I enter the kitchen.
Okay.
And just be mindful of, especially being in the New York, Lower Hudson Valley region, we have access to a plethora of farms that supply amazing, fresh, healthy produce ingredients to us for most of the year.
Right.
So first I try to just access different farmers and such through farmers markets and just get to know them more than anything.
Right.
I think we were very privileged in our society to be able to go into a supermarket and just, pick something up off the shelf and go to the checkout and, get in your car and drive home. Whereas, we used to have to hunt and gather for our food and other things.
Right.
So we've really cut down the process of, from, picking something up and then putting it on our table.
All right.
So at least if we can know the people and the families on a first name basis is what I really try to do, of where my food is coming from, it creates a bigger connection.
Right.
And especially me, myself, being a small business, I like to support other small businesses within the local economy. So, first off, I try to just support local farmers when possible throughout the year. And then every event I cook for, whether it's a birthday party or a film or music video shoot or a cooking class, I always just recreate menus every time.
Right.
Based on what the clients like. I try to get a feel for what their palate is and give them some ideas. So I'm always coming into each, say, kitchen session with a fresh outlook and trying to make, even if it's a stir-fry dish that I make all the time, how can I make this one even better than the last?
Very
That
good.
way, the person receiving it is just getting like the blessing that I can put forth.
Because remember we spoke about the intent.
Exactly.
So talk a little bit about the intention when you're preparing and cooking for somebody and for yourself.
I think it's a very big privilege that when, say, I'm at a farmer's market, I do White Plains Farmer's Market on Wednesdays. I'm in New Rochelle Farmer's Market on Saturdays from May to Thanksgiving. And to have a complete stranger approach my stand based on, the aroma that may be wafting down the street or the music that I have playing or just the image of me with the woks doing a stir fry, for a stranger to approach me and allow me to prepare them something that is going to go into their body and nourish them, I see that as just a huge privilege and a blessing, because sometimes when I'll have a lot of work to do, different jobs, and I may not necessarily get much sleep leading into events, but there's sort of just an energy that pushes me along that I know that I'm going to go out there, and if I can make someone smile, make someone's day by preparing that meal, it just gives me that extra motivation and force to cook and get it to where it has to arrive at for people to feel healthy and happy and just connected, not only to me, but just to the bigger world around us. Because, like I said before, food is the one common denominator that we all can't surpass. So,
remember you had also discussed that if you were feeling any kind of tension or any anger or anything, then talk about what you wouldn't do if you were in that state.
I feel people can definitely pick up on the energies in food. I know I've eaten out sometimes, and even if the dish itself may be with nutritious ingredients like kale and things filled with antioxidants and phytochemicals and such, yet if the cook themselves was unhappy or ill-mannered, the food doesn't taste as sweet and loving, So I try not to enter the kitchen or cook if I'm in that kind of a mood. And I would say 99% of the time, me going into the kitchen, I know it's for a greater purpose beyond myself.
That's right.
So I'm just more so of a vehicle to get the physical product of food out to people, but it's the energy that's in it is what actually fuels us.
It's good that you have that awareness. Also, share with me that that little experiment that was done. I do know about the experiment,
Yes.
but I want you to talk about that
Yes.
experiment.
So when I was graduating college, I had a friend who did a senior project she spoke on self-talk and just how we can build ourselves up or tear ourselves down in certain situations just based on how we interact with our mind and our ego and our body.
Right.
And she played a video from an individual named Masaru Emoto who did the water experiments,
Right.
I guess it was called. And he took water from the same source, placed it in two vessels, wrote love on one and hate on the other, and then froze it and took pictures of the water crystals themselves. The ones with love written on it were these perfect crystalline structures with these bright colors, almost celestial-like.
Right.
And then the ones with hate written on it were fragmented and these deep reds and
Right.
very eerie looking, and kept doing it with different mediums, you know, playing classic music towards one vessel as opposed to death metal to another vessel. Or there was one example of him taking water from the Ganges River, which is somewhat polluted, and the water in its natural state was this fragmented, discolored, sort of low frequency vibration. You know, it
Right.
didn't have much energy to it. And then the same water that was prayed over became a completely different substance. So seeing that, it struck a real deep chord with me. And it just made me go out and be mindful of
Right.
everything I do,
Very good.
whether it's cooking or any engagement or interaction I
With a
enter
person.
into, is
Right.
just to be positive and just, you know, write love on it in a grander sense. And, you know, every meal that I put out at the farmer's market, catering engagement, I always write love on it.
Right.
Guaranteed. You
Good.
know, I think I've forgotten twice. And luckily, like, the customer didn't leave the farmer's market, and I was able to chase them down. And I said, wait.
Forget your
And
love.
I
Don't
I
forget
wrote
your
love on
love.
their box, and I was like, all right, you can go now.
Right,
You know, but
lovely.
it's definitely, it's good for us to be just positive into any situation, even if you don't know what the outcome is going to be.
That's right.
Just to have that level of optimism and faith that will carry you through.
Faith and optimism. Now, is there any kind of spiritual or religious practice that you do?
I don't think I adhere to any one specific spiritual dogma, whether it's Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, Islam, Judaism. It all boils down to the same common principles across the different religions of just compassion and understanding and patience for our fellow man.
Right.
Because we are, as humans in this form, we're just very contradictory creatures. You know, we lie to ourselves at times.
Yes.
We say we're going to do certain things, and even we don't come through for ourselves. So we shouldn't judge others for what we perceive them to be failing us,
Right.
in a sense. So it's definitely something we all can work on every day, of just being more patient and understanding, and in any situation taking that split second
Right.
to step back before responding or reacting, to take into consideration, you know, there may be things going on in your life that I may not know about, that, you know, creates a certain situation of how you
Sure.
interact with me. So I shouldn't judge you for that,
Right.
you know, but it's, you know, it's easier said than done.
Sure.
But just to go out into the world and be patient with one another and try to, you know, we may not agree on everything. I don't think we're supposed to agree on everything.
Right.
That's what creates, like, the beauty of an ecosystem, is all the different parts. But the fact that we can work together for a greater good and greater goal, I think is the idea and sort of the faith behind everything I do.
And that's what you need, faith. That's
Exactly.
it. So where'd you get the love from?
I think just from everything around us. You know, the love, it's always been there. It'll always be there. Sometimes it's hard to realize that with everything you can see in the media and the news and
Right.
just everything going around. But there's always people that are out there trying to do things and sacrifice for not necessarily themselves, but
For the greater good.
for the greater good.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just tapping into that energy that's already out there. You know, the love is always there.
Great. So now talking about the greater good, you also do some volunteer things in the community with children and with seniors. So just talk a little bit about
Yes,
that.
so I do several cooking workshops in a few local libraries. One of them is New Rochelle Public Library.
Okay.
Throughout the summer and throughout the year, I'd lead essentially youth cooking classes. They were originally teen, and then as the classes progressed over weeks, I just have children of all ages in there.
Right.
Which is absolutely wonderful because there's it's never too late to start cooking or just get
Oh, never too
introduced to
early.
food.
I was late because I was spoiled. Dare I say that? But I was a late cooker. It's okay.
Which happens. It's totally fine, you know,
yeah.
because I was blessed to at least grow up with home cooked meals on the table for the most part. You know, eating out was a rarity.
It's same with me.
But I didn't really start cooking myself until being a broke college student.
Right.
And
But
then
there's some benefit.
Exactly. And then at that point, when I started cooking for myself, I started doing more research into food and finding more about local agriculture and organic versus conventional and just the way our food system is set up. And it really opened my eyes to just how much of an impact we make with our dollars, in a sense. You know, if more people are buying local produce, it empowers our local economy and community and really strengthens us, as opposed to if you buy something from a multinational corporation that's been shipped several thousand miles across the planet and it's actually out of season now, it doesn't really have the nutritional benefit or the energy that we need to exist with.
Right.
So so I try to just impart that in the cooking classes, you know, if it's a little kid, I can hand them a piece of kale and they can tear it apart with their hands, feel it, smell it, they're touching it. I can tell them to taste it, they can taste it, and
That's
then now
wonderful.
they're introduced to this item that, you know, now
So
it's
this is where they know you. That's not where you pick them from. You don't pick them from the supermarket.
Exactly.
They come from somewhere else.
Exactly.
You know, outside this. So it's great. It's wonderful.
Exactly. So I'd like to set up a few local and community gardens as well. That
Good.
way I can not only show people of all ages how to prepare dishes, but the full life cycle of it,
Right.
of from soil all the way to our soul,
Great.
essentially. So I'd like to do that and
Excellent.
empower more people to know about food.
And you also have a musical side to you, Giovanni.
Yes.
Yes.
I always hear most chefs have a musical side or vice versa, or, you know,
Okay.
there's always a balance of different artistic aspects within people. But I've always been a huge fan of music, all genres, all types. And I began, you know, writing my own music when I was in 6th or 7th grade. And several years ago, I think it was 3 years ago, in 2013, a friend I went to school with sent me an email of an organization called Citizen Schools. So they essentially work in lower income school districts in mainly urban areas. So they're based in New York, Boston, a few areas around the
Okay,
country.
Citizen schools, yeah.
I believe citizenschools.org.
Are they beacon schools too that do like incorporate like the whole family?
I'm not sure.
We're going into something else
Yeah,
now.
I'm not sure. So they
But I think I know the citizen schools you're talking about, yes.
So they work in, I know in New York City, they're within 5 or 6 different schools. And they extend the school day for the students and have citizen teachers who volunteer as myself come in
Good.
and teach the students whatever their specialty is. So my specialty, or one of my other passions being music,
Right.
I said, let me go in and, you know, share that with these kids. It's like I'm cooking, I need something else to balance that out. Since I'm not really putting out as much music myself, at least I can engage students to do that. So over the 10 weeks, the students produce their own original music and beat. They write a song to it. We shoot a music video, and then we try to get it online for them to pick some type of local charity, so that if we can get it on iTunes or other social media music platforms, they can raise money towards that charity. And then at the end, they have what's called a wow presentation. So we pick an off-campus location, gather a general authentic audience for them, and that way the students can just showcase the hard work that they've put in the 10 weeks of just finding out about their creative side.
Isn't that wonderful?
You know, because I would love to have had that opportunity at that age to sort of
find yourself.
Just, find yourself a bit more, show you what options.
Yes.
And within all the apprenticeships, it's, we're making a song, which is the goal, but it also teaches them different 21st century skills, such as, communication and public speaking and teamwork. So it'll resonate with them throughout other aspects of their life as they go into high school and then apply for college and then just enter the world, that they can be contributing members to their community.
Right.
And build on their strengths.
Excellent. I do want you to mention your email address, your website, how one can get in touch with you.
So my email is amour@breakbreadnothearts.com, AMOUR @breakbreadnothearts.com.
Okay.
And then my website is www.breakbreadnothearts.com.
Excellent.
Yes.
Very good. So now at the farmers market, you were saying how you cook, and that's interesting to be doing that kind of thing in a farmer's market. So how are you able to do that?
So I essentially set up there and in White Plains or New Rochelle.
Right.
And I have several woks there.
Okay.
I have a pot of soup always, and then a variety of baked goods, which are also vegan and gluten-free. So I always, with my menu, I try to be mindful of allergies and other dietary restrictions, because I want my food to be available to everyone.
Excellent.
So all the baked goods, I keep them vegan and gluten-free, and most people wouldn't be able to tell the difference otherwise, but at least it's there so that everyone can try it. And then the signature dish that I do is a basmati rice stir fry with some kind of bean mixed into it, and then a variety of vegetables. So I'll usually have ginger, garlic, purple cabbage, green cabbage, bell peppers, scallions. And then as the season goes on, being in the farmer's market, I know when everything becomes fresh.
Right.
So say in the month of August, the dish will be loaded with string beans and peaches. And then
string beans and peaches.
Exactly.
I have to try
and then
that.
you hit,
September. I'll have to cook some string beans and peaches.
Blackened string beans within a stir fry. It's like my favorite thing.
Right.
And it also makes people aware of what's in season, So it's like, for myself at least, I know after August, I don't want to see a peach or string bean personally, because I've eaten way too many.
OD'd on it, right?
Exactly. But then...
And talking about OD, everything in moderation.
But that's the statement itself, everything in moderation. It sort of puts us...
Everything in moderation. And it's not to be fearful of foods.
Exactly.
It's just to know that you have to do it in moderation.
Exactly.
And just not... say, I can't eat this, I can't eat that because it's that and it's it. No, it's just to be mindful, be aware.
Exactly.
And just bit by bit.
Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly. Because there's so many cultures and backgrounds around the world that there's no set diet that fits us all. So you sort of just have to listen to your body.
You do.
And, your body, your intuition, and enjoy what you're doing. If you're going to have a meal and sit down, whether it's by yourself or with your friends and family, just appreciate that moment.
Right.
Whether you're eating, a salad or if it's a batch of locally made ice cream, you should enjoy it the same way. And, I'm definitely blessed to be able to go out and pursue my passion and connect with people through Break Bread Not Hearts.
And what a lovely name that is. It just came to you?
It's one of those things that just,
Isn't
just
that
comes to you
wonderful?
through the universe, and
Oh, isn't
then
that wonderful when that
you try to pick
happens?
it up and just run with it as much as I
Yes,
can. Yes.
yes. And so you do like corporate dinners and stuff like
Yes,
that
yes.
too?
So we also do corporate catering.
Mm-hmm.
So we've held functions like team building functions where I've gone in, done a food demo
Mm-hmm.
for whoever the client is to
Right.
show them and their staff, healthier alternatives and recipes.
Excellent.
And then I've also tried to tie in other aspects where I've had people who are licensed massage therapists come in
Mm.
and, they'll get a massage and a meal kind of thing, which has always worked out well.
Right, right.
And then, so we do the corporate catering.
Mm-hmm.
We do smaller gatherings, birthday parties for,
Mm.
10 people, 5 people or
Good,
so,
good,
where we
very
can
good.
do plated dinners, really intimate,
Mm-hmm.
up to parties of 50 people, where it'll be more
Right.
buffet style and more fun. The farmers markets, the cooking classes,
Mm-hmm.
trying to branch more into the gardening and agricultural aspect to tie that in with
Excellent.
our food literacy curriculum,
Mm-hmm.
and just trying to find different ways to connect people through food and through love.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we have the winding down to the last few minutes. What would you like the viewers to know? Anything in particular you'd like to share with the viewers at this time?
Just do what you love, regardless of what it is.
Mm-hmm.
We all play a role within the society that we're in.
We do.
Some people can be a doctor and they'll love that, whereas the next individual may say love making pizzas and work in a pizzeria and be absolutely passionate about that. And then
Good.
another individual could be the superintendent of a building that just loves to keep things
And
in
I've seen
order.
that, and I've seen that.
So it doesn't really matter what you do.
Mm-hmm.
It's more so just the mindset that you go into it with
Very good.
that will keep you happy and as stress-free as possible, because life is too good.
Right.
So the more we can move through it with just a positive outlook and with love and loving what we're doing,
Exactly.
it'll,
No matter what it is.
no matter what it is, and it
Yes.
affects the people around us.
It does.
So not only are you building yourself up, but you're building up your community and cooking up community.
Right,
which is what I do with Break Bread Not Hearts.
Well, Giovanni, I want to thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
And
Thank
to
you.
the viewers, your level of consciousness is the gateway to your future. Thank you.
Thank you.